Hi guys, welcome to, oh hey, wait, get away from the back button. You're at Old School Sprinklers, I promise you. I'm really happy to announce that Antique Sprinklers and Old School Sprinklers is doing a collaboration on the company Febco, a Southern California company, and that it's going to be in multiple episodes, and you're gonna want to watch it. So I promise to keep my portion of each of these videos very brief, because I know if you've subscribed to Old School Sprinklers, you like the way Dave does it, and he does a fantastic job. All I'm going to do is provide a little bit of history in the way that my videos do. And again, I'll be brief, not in my usual first the earth cooled and then there were dinosaurs, and in that way, if I can help it. And then Mr. Old School Sprinklers will get in there and show you really how things worked. And it's amazing what he has planned. And today we're going to launch the first one. He has a Febco hydraulic pedestal irrigation controller, and through the series he's going to refurbish that and get it into working order, get some valves in working order, and then the grand finale is so great that I kind of want to keep that a little bit under wraps, because it's just the dream of anybody who has this kind of hobby to kind of put it all together in the way that will. And so for this introductory video, I'm just going to just very briefly introduce Febco. And to do that, I need to talk about Fred Reinecke for a minute. And Fred was born in the 1880s in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, to German immigrants. And he initially made his money in the wholesale produce business there in southwestern Pennsylvania. And by 1920 had moved on to the booming city of Los Angeles, and was involved in, I think, managing apartments or something, is what his census survey said. And shortly after that, he met a guy in the irrigation business, John A. Brooks from Detroit, and came to an agreement where he would be Brooks' distributor in Southern California. And so that's how Brooks of California was created. And they had an agreement that lasted many years. And when it expired, that is when Fred founded the company Febco. And this is my favorite part of the Febco story. The name of the company, it represents the first letter of the first name of each of Fred's children. And so, Fred was Fred Sr., and he had a son, Fred Jr., so that's the F. There was another son who went by Ed, and a third son who went by Bill, and then a daughter that went by Charlotte, and he reserved O at the end for Old Man, which I think is great. And so in the ensuing series, we'll get in more depth. I'll spend a little more time with Brooks of California. We'll talk about the history of Febco. It was located in many places in California over its lifetimes, and it changed hands multiple times until it was ultimately owned by Watts Regulator and was just a brand of backflow preventers under them. But we'll explain to you every step along that path and how their product line changed. And then, you can fast forward through my doing that part in each of these, and Dave will show you his magic with these sprinklers and controllers and valves, and just the way that he so concisely explains the technical details behind them. I think you're in for a real treat. And I'm very pleased to be involved in a project like this with him. So with that, I'm going to get out of the way and let him get the series going. Thanks.
Hello everybody. Well, I hope you enjoy this journey, and we're going to start with the controllers and take a closer look at them right now. So we're going to look at the 1960 catalog by Febco, and the two models that they had there were the E16W and the E16P. So the E16W was the wall mount type controller, and the P was the pedestal mount. And I do have examples of both of those here, and we're going to take a look at them right now. So here's a real life E16W controller, not in the best of shape. And then here is a pedestal model right here. Yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the brief history of where these two controllers came from. The pedestal one on the right was one that was removed from about 8 or 9 at a local high school here, and it's probably the only survivor that I'm aware of anywhere. And this was probably installed in the late 50s, 57 or 58 when the high school was built. And it was removed in the late 90s, I would say. So it had about 40 years of service. And I'm sure along the way it had some repairs done to it, no doubt. And the same holds true with the wall mount here. The wall mount controller came out of a middle school, and that had 4 of them in there. And it had the same service life as well, about 40 years, installed in the late 50s and removed in the late 90s. In the late 90s, that's when things are really changing and everybody is upgrading all their equipment to new electronic and electric systems. This old Febco, though, happens to have its old data plate on it still. It says automatic lawn sprinkler by Febco, Los Angeles, E16W model, serial number 1966 with the voltage 115, 60 cycle and 4 amps. That would have been the same for this controller, same data, except the serial number would have been different. Unfortunately, it lost its data plate. It would have been right across the top right here. So anyway, a little brief history of these two that I know of, and again, they're probably the only lone survivors that I'm aware of anywhere. So I'm fortunate to have them and share them with you guys. Unfortunately, on the wall mount controller, it didn't survive the storage too well all these years after it was removed from service. But this one, when it was originally built, had a capacity to go up to 12 zones, and they only got up to 7. Then over here on the pedestal mount, this one, same thing, could go up to 16 zones, and they used actually 9 zones on this particular controller. The components in the internals are all the same, so they could be inter swapped with each other if need be. The parts were the same. So we're going to take a look at that right now. So to take a look at the internal components, we just open this little door, and you can see all the electromechanical control stuff. The controller has a clock, electro pack, and solenoid valves. And so does the other controller that we'll take a look at. So to get to the internals on the pedestal controller, we usually had a couple screws in the back that would hold this outer shroud on. And after that was done, they were back here. And after that was done, this whole shell comes right off. Just like that. And everything is right there. So today I'm choosing the pedestal to get operational, basically for the simple fact it's in better shape than the wall mount controller is. And so we're just going to get the one operational, and we'll see how it works. So on the pedestal, and just like the wall mount controller, there's 4 basic components to make the whole controller work. And we had the control board, or the top piece. That's number 1. Number 2 is the actual 24-hour time clock. Number 3 is the electro pack. And down at the very bottom, you can probably just barely see it, is the solenoid valves. So we're going to take a closer look at all 4 of those and see how they work. So we're going to take a look at the top, or the control board. And at the top you can see we have all kinds of switches and knobs and a push button, and actually a light down there. We'll start at the upper left hand corner. This was a master shutoff switch, and it was you either had it on or off. So on, of course, for a regular cycle, and off just to shut everything down. And then each zone had was controlled independently. You can actually put it on automatic cycle to go with the automatic mode, or you could that would be automatic, or you could go to omit and would not go on that cycle. Or if you want to do maintenance on the zone, you just push the switch to manual, and you can operate it that way. So there is a total of 9 there that were in use on this particular controller when it was taken out of service. And also it has a seasonal timer selector. So the knob there, you can see, is pointing at N, 2, you can go to 2 or half. And basically normal would be whatever normal operating time would be on the electro pack, which we will take a closer look at later. Or you can double the time to whatever that electro pack had on it, or half that time. Then we move on to the hand starter. The hand starter would be like a manual start on the whole cycle of zones that you wanted to water. And basically you would push that on, and I see I'm going to have to repair that switch. And that would start a cycle. And when a cycle was running, this light would come on. It's actually a red light that's in there. And as soon as the cycle started, the red light would come on to let you know that it's in operation. Next, we're going to take a look at the 24-hour clock. And actually in their manual here, their catalog, they call it a control built-in Sangamo clock as a starting device. The best I can describe it is that to me it's just a regular 24-hour clock. So we'll try to take a closer look at it and see how it works. So here's your 24-hour wheel right here. Here's your time of day. I'm sorry we're using a rusty nail, but it works. Right there it says 11 o'clock a.m. And to adjust the time of day, they have this little wheel here on the side. And you can only turn it in one direction, as you can see. So it would go around to get it to where we want to go. Say if we want to go to 2 o'clock. As the time of day, we go about right there, 2 o'clock. To go to the day of the week, it was a 7-day wheel. Actually, there's a little diamond here on this arm. And right there, it happened to be on a Thursday, the way it's set now. Come to find out, those pins up here, these trip pins, are the days that it would not water. So wherever you do not see a pin in that 7-day wheel, it would water. Okay, now to set the starting time, we can actually go and loosen this knob up here. And you see these little trip pins up here. There's actually 2 of them. So you can actually do 2 starting times a day. You could split that up into 2 zones, 2 cycles. And you have another one here. Sorry, my hand's in the way. But you could go to a starting time, let's say at midnight, and off at 1 o'clock. Then you can have another round at 5 a.m. and go off at 7. So as it goes around, it'll go on, off, on, off. So we're going to turn this manually around and see how all the mechanics work on that timer. Here goes the first on right here. I'll make contact with that lever. happens to be turning the time of the day of the week, excuse me. There it goes. It should have started a cycle there at 1 o'clock. And then it will go off about 2 in the morning. Right on that second pedal going by on that lever. There you go, it just went off. Then you got another cycle that would begin about right there. So you can see this thing did have the capacity of doing multiple starts in one day. Not bad for 1950s technology. Okay, we're going to move on to the electro pack. The electro pack is the actual timing for each zone. You probably remember I was showing at the top of the controller there was a knob up there that showed normal, 2, and then half. That knob right there. Normal, 2, and then half. So on the electro pack, to determine what is normal watering time is actually represented right here. Very hard to see it, but it says 10 minutes of normal watering time. And that represent for each terminal. So if this was the starting point, terminal 1 would be zone 1, that'd be 10 minutes. Number 2 would be 10 minutes, and so forth all the way around. And so the electro packs also came in different minute denominations, like 5 minutes or even 2 or 3 minutes. But you had to change out the whole electro pack. You could not change it internally. These electro packs were sealed, and Febco would not honor any warranties on the electro pack if they determined that it was broken into and someone was messing with it. So anyway, so that's what would happen with these was this one here represented 10 minutes of watering time. So to further describe how you can change this, they have here a nice little booklet of how to add minutes on and off of a particular zone. And you can see here that again, this one happens to be for 5 minutes, but each terminal would represent 5 minutes on this particular electro pack. So terminal 1 had 5 minutes. Terminal 2 was actually connected to the terminal 3. That happened to be zone number 2. And that would actually give you 10 minutes. And then zone number 3 had actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terminals. So that would be 25 minutes. So you get the idea of how this would work. So normal watering time would be 5. You can double this. Say this one here was 10 minutes. So you can actually double that to 20 minutes. And the 25 under normal could be 30 minutes. And this, as an example, had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those. So that would be 40 minutes. Or you could double it to 80 minutes or cut it back down in half. So that's the way these electro packs were designed to do. That's how you made the adjustments on the zones you wanted to change the watering on. So that's what that's kind of about. Now this particular controller, the way this one's set up, zone number 1 is going to be for 10 minutes, and it's just one lead. Zone number 2, same thing, 10 minutes. Now if you notice real close, terminal 3 and 4, which happens to be zone 3, is actually doubled up with a wire jumping them together. And so that would be representing 20 minutes of normal watering time. Again, you could double the amount and go to 20 minutes or cut it in half, back down to 10. And zone 4 happened to be independent by itself. And zone 5 is actually doubled up. Zone 6 was doubled up. Zone 7 was doubled up. And zone 8 looked like it was one all by itself. So there's a little bit of work to put these jumpers in to make certain zones water longer or to discontinue them. And so that's kind of how that worked back in the day. And then when the electropack did work on the terminals, then it would send a voltage down to the solenoids down below, which we'll take a closer look at, and activate the solenoids. Okay, continuing on to the solenoids. They're right down here below. They're 110 volt solenoids. They work off of this water supply header here, connected by a 1/4 inch water supply tubing coming off the irrigation supply main. And you can see the 3/16 tubing connection on the side right there. And again, these solenoids work off of the electropack and also up on the top where the manual control switches are. So this concludes part 1 of the Febco history. We'll continue on to part 2 next time, starting by getting water connected to the controller and get it all powered up and try it out and see what we got and make any repairs that are necessary. All right, thanks for joining me today, and we'll see you on the next one.